Hi, today we're going to do something a little bit different. I have a PRS Angelus SE acoustic guitar. One of the first runs, the ones that were made in Korea, not the new ones that are made in China. It's about 13 years old. So I've done a couple modifications to it. I'm going to go through them and then I'll explain to you what the problem I have. So as you can see, this is the acoustic guitar in its purest form. But here lies the issue. This is the original PRS pickup system. So it's a preamp system that has a Piezo and this wonderful top-notch electrical equipment. And so basically what happened is these guitars were made in Korea. They were shipped to the Maryland factory, and then they put these preamp systems directly in there. These were the preamp systems at the time, from what I understand, that were in the American-made acoustic guitars back then. So this is, I'll get into the details about what I'm having difficulty with, but I'll go on with the modifications I've done to it. So I satined the back of the neck using not steel wool, but that green Scotch-Brite pads. You have to tape it off really nicely to make sure you get the nice contours, and then you could Scotch-Brite it until you get to your desired finish. Obviously, I've taken off the SE. I've actually replaced, actually it fell off, and then I replaced it with just a sticker I found, I think, on Etsy. And but this is an actual PRS SE. What I've also done is, as you can see on the inside, I've redone with some old looking paper the inputs, and I just wrote it by hand, but it is in fact made in Korea, and it is a Korean made guitar. The other thing I've done too is I've added an O port from Diodario to make it much louder without it being plugged in. That thing is amazing. If you guys haven't had the opportunity to put that in your acoustic guitar, I definitely recommend it. So let's go on to the problem I'm having. This preamp system is absolutely amazing. It sounded great all the way up until a month ago. And so what happened is I would play, sounds coming out from the quarter-inch jack, which looks like this. And it sounds amazing for about 4 to 7 minutes, and all of a sudden it starts distorting, eventually until there's no sound anymore. And the way to reset it is to unplug the quarter-inch and then plug it back in, which is very annoying, especially if you're doing a live set. So I have to figure out a solution. I contacted PRS, and they told me that basically what they're doing now is they would leave this in here, they would leave this in here, they would make it so that the battery is functional, the quarter-inch is functional. This, however, will not be. It looks pretty. And what they would do is they would put the Fishman system that they currently have now to put inside the sound hole over here, which to me wouldn't work because I got the O port, and I don't like to have things on my guitar that have no functionality. It just adds weight for nothing and more things to rattle for no reason. So basically, I found myself another solution. My solution is I'm going to be putting an BAGGS Anthem system in it. So it's got the Element Piezo as well as the pickup that goes under the bridge. So that's the project that I'm going to do. But before we even get there, I want to show you a sound sample as to what my guitar is doing, if it could help anybody out there. Okay, so what I've done is I plugged the guitar in. As you can see, it's plugged in. It's plugged into the Fishman amplifier that I have. It's a Loudbox Mini, and this is what it sounds like. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? All right, so I'm gonna keep playing until the problem starts happening, and then for you guys, it'll be a couple of seconds. For me, it'll be about 1.5 minutes. See you soon.
A few moments later.
So here's where the problem starts happening. that distortion? Power is leaving. Signal's gone now. So that's the problem that I have. So now that we know what the problem is, that distorted sound, it's barely clipping through. It's got no signal going out anymore. So something's wrong with it. My educated guess would be that it's some sort of capacitor that went. But since the system no longer exists, what can they replace it by? They can't. So that's why we got to find another solution. So this is what this video is about.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
All right. So first things first, ask me if I want to do this. I don't. But you have no choice. So I'm going to drink a little bit of poppy here. Man, that's good. This is my workstation. Not very spacious, but it's what I got, so that's what I'm going to work with. So first things first, we'll take off a couple accessories. A little fret groove fret wrap here to avoid that little unwanted high-pitched squealing that you get when you record stuff. Can't forget the humidifier. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take the strings off. I'm going to put a capo. This is a thalliate capo. If you know, you know. These things are amazing. We're going to fret the strings up here so I don't have to worry about testing it out with new strings and having to cut it. Then we're going to tape the strings up here so they're out of the way. We're going to take the O port out of here, and then we're going to get to work. All right, so I'll be back when all that stuff is done. All right, so we're here. Strings are off. They're taped off. Next step, I'm going to take this preamp off. So I'll show you what it looks like from the inside. All right, so I'm going to bring the camera up a little bit so that you kind of see what's going on here. So I unscrewed these two screws right over here, this one and this one. And then on the back, there's a little retaining, I guess, piece of metal here. And what we can see is there's a, so you get it to focus, a little bit of a dial in here, and then this little plug here. We're going to unplug those two. I believe this would be the Piezo, and then this would be the control for the battery as well as the quarter-inch jack. So we're going to unplug those two and then work from there. Okay, so sure enough, that plug that I pulled out of here, right here, it says pickup, and then the other one says output. This was on the original PRS pickup system. So now this is done. Now I'm curious to know if this BAGGS Anthem will fit in this hole. Right, there's a flashlight I have back there just to see what I'm doing. So let's check it out. All right, so I'm not sure if you can see, but I managed, by the BAGGS Anthem, it feeds through the inside. So we're gonna have to put this in like this. And then there's a cover that goes on around here. Check this out. It almost fits perfectly. No holes showing. Isn't that amazing? It's like it was made for this. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to drill two little holes up here. One up here and one over here. And then over here, it looks like it's just going to be screwing into the actual BAGGS Anthem preamp. So it's going to be that easy. But this is going to be the last step. So we're going to come back to this after. Okay, so now next step. I forgot to mention, this is the sizing if ever you are interested in this pickup system. And the bit to take out the preamp, the existing preamp, is a 2.5 millimeter bit hex. Now we use a Phillips head screwdriver, and we're gonna unscrew this. Beat you to it. We already did it. So now we're gonna pull this out here. Now my intention with this is simply this, because the BAGGS Anthem has the battery compartment right here. So that won't work with this setup right here, unless I go through some like really big process, but I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making this battery pack here. Just basically, it's going to be an extra battery container, I guess. And then this output here is where I'm going to be making the LR bags. If I can find it, the output jack come out of there. So let's see if we can figure that out, and then I'll get back to you guys. Okay, so let me walk you through what I did over here. So first things first, the battery technically comes in. Sorry, I'm filming at the same time as doing this, so it's a little bit hard. Battery technically goes in to those springs over there, this way over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in, like this. And this, the springs, closes up. No rattling whatsoever. So nice extra battery compartment there if ever you need it. Next step, what I did is I unscrewed the original output that used to be here. Now this used to be here, plugged into this little bit over here. That was plugged into focus right over here. I unplugged that because that's where the battery is and I didn't want to make any permanent damage. Anyway, so that just clipped out. And then you take out these little pieces. Oh, there it goes. One piece is here and here. These came out really easy. We don't need those anymore. Don't need this anymore. This becomes useless. This, by the way, was plugged in directly to the preamp, so that's kind of nice. Just unclips. Then we go back to here, LR BAGGS Anthem output. This had this little notch here because technically this is supposed to go where the strap goes. You drill a hole there. Well, I don't have a hole there. I have a big hole here. So that's what I'm going to be using. So this, don't need this. Gone. And this is what it looks like on the outside. Hardly tell that there's any modifications whatsoever. It looks stock. So basically on the inside, what I did is I just put this here, added a new tie wrap. No wiggling other than this little piece here, which I'm going to fix. All right, so here's my crazy idea. My crazy idea is this is all ready to go. Makes no sound, plug back in. This is the LR BAGGS output right here. It's plugged into my Fishman amplifier, ready to go. I am going to use the stock PRS Piezo and plug that into the output over here. My output is plugged in here, ready to go. And I'm going to string it up using the strings that I had. This is why I'm using the strings. So we're not going to put new strings in until we're completely finished the project. So stay tuned. Let's see if it works. All right, so I restrung it back up with the strings I already had. Obviously, it's not installed yet, but I just wanted to see if the pickup that was originally in my PRS would work with this system in the input 1. So you can kind of hear the background. Amp is on, and works. So I'm not even going to bother putting the element in. That's this Piezo system here, because I have heard through some YouTube videos that apparently under the bridge right over here, you have to kind of do a little bit of a drilling job under the bridge here so that the Piezo goes fully inside to make sure that it, because there's like a little clip at the end that's not really getting anything in terms of sound and vibrations. So basically you have to drill a little hole so that, you know, it makes that this string and this string has the same volume. But right now this pickup was designed for this guitar and it seems to be working quite well. So I'm gonna keep that in there. And yeah, which basically makes this entire thing reversible, which is kind of cool. Okay, so what I've done is I've put that microphone in there. I'm gonna try and see if I can put it in here. You guys can kind of see. So in the inside of the PRS Angelus, it's a hybrid X bracing, so it's really easy to make sure that it's centered. It's basically where the X is. You basically just go a little bit further, make sure it's nice and seated right under the bridge. So it's actually quite easy to do. And then obviously you have your output. You plug that into your second output on the BAGGS Anthem, and then you're ready to go. All right, so my next step is I tie wrapped all of these cables going to the back of the Anthem to make sure it's nice and clean and snake. And PRS has conveniently put a metal bracket. I can show you guys this right here, but it's got a metal bracket right here, and that's built in, this bracket right here. So basically that is to hold the cables in, so you don't have to use the ones that came with the Anthem, these plastic things. You don't even need them. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so I just want to show you something. So this is the original pickup system. Obviously it's not screwed in, but just to show you that the modifications that I made for the holes to go in, you couldn't tell. So again, completely reversible. So I'll show you what the final product looks like. All right, here we are, BAGGS Anthem. You can kind of see there's literally no gaps whatsoever. No holes are showing. Almost looks like it came like that. Isn't that cool? All right, now we're at the final test. As you can see, pickup system is inside. Hooked up the wires up in there with that metal clip that's there. And from the front, couldn't tell anything's different. Now we do the shake test. Other than the strap moving, no cables are touching, and everything is good. So now we do a full cleanup and plug her in and see what it sounds like. Okay, so here we are. It's finally in, and we can see the O port's back in. You can't see anything through the hole. Did have a little bit of an issue with the O port touching the inside of the pickup, but again, it's not a huge issue. It's actually keeping it together nice and solid. New strings on, cleaned up the fretboard, everything looks great. So what I had to do is inside of here, there is an adjustment. You have to use the stick that comes with the BAGGS system, and right inside of here, there's an adjustment for the under bridge microphone, and that needed to be to the maximum because apparently the blend between that and the PRS pickup, or the Piezo I should say, is very high. So basically, in order to blend the two, as you can see right over here, this is the perfect in between because the Piezo that's originally in the Angelus is very loud. So if this over here, the volume is up too much, sorry about that, get a lot of feedback, and we also get and this notch filter is already on, so that's just to tell you how loud it is. This is the perfect spot, because if not, even if you are away from the speaker, you get a distorted sound. So this is basically the best EQ that you can get out of this guitar. So next step is the listening sound, and you'll be able to hear what it sounds like. So there you go. Hopefully that helps somebody out there. Like I said, this was a problem that just happened and I needed to find a solution and didn't want to buy a new guitar. So really like this one and I plan to keep it. So this is my solution. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in a new video.